scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied.
Text 12. Tut janasi bhadram te Bhagavan satvatam pati Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato Yasya Chikeshaya.
Mataji reciting English. Translate.
All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva.
Text 13. Tanna Shushushamananam Arhasi Anganu Varnitam Yasya Avtaru Bhutanam Shemaya Cha Bhavaya Cha.
O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them.
Text 14. Apanna Sansritim Ghoram Yannam Vivasho Grinan Tata Sadhya Vimuccheta Yad Bhibeti Swayam Bhayam.
Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified.
Text 15. Yat Pad Sanshya Sutta Munya Prashmayana Sadhya Punanti Upasprishta Svardhuni Apo Anusevaya.
O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
Text 16. Kova Bhagavatastasya Punya Shloke Dya Karmanaha Shuddhi Kamo Na Shunya Yasha Kali Malapaham.
Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord?
Text 17. Tasya Karmani Udarani Parigitani Suribhi Bruhina Shadadhananam Lilya Dharata Kalaha.
His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narada sing of them. Please, therefore, speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations.
Text 18. Athakhyahi Harir Dhimman Avatar Katha Shubha Leela Vidadhata Swaram Ishwarasyatma Mayaya.
O wise Sutta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventures and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers.
Text 19. Vyam tu na vitrapyam Uttama Vikrame Yat Shinvatam Rasgyanam Swadu Swadu Pade Pade.
We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment.
Text, text 20. Kritvan kil karmani saharamen keshava atimartyani bhagwan gura kapat manushaha.
Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts.
Text 21. Kalim agatam agyaya kshetre asmin vaishnave vyam asinam asinadir shatrena kathyam sakshan hare.
Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead, and in this way perform sacrifice.
Text 22. Tamna sandirshato dhatra dustram nisiti tirshatam kalim satva haram puncham karnadhar ivarnavam.
We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being.
Text 23. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmane Dharmavarmani Swam Kashtam Adhunopete Dharmakam Sharanam Gataha.
Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please forgive my mistakes. It was just last moment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. It was very nice recitation from both of you. Okay. So today we are discussing this verse, which is 1.1.13. Okay. So we'll begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्रील प्रभुपाद Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances to all assembled Vaishnavas. And it is my first class on Shrimad Bhagavatam. So if I miss something, please help me. This particular verse will recite Tanna Shushrumana Nam Arhasi Anganuvarnitam Yasyavtaro Bhutanam Kshemaya Cha Bhavaya Cha. O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, acharyas, for one is uplifted both by speaking them and by hearing them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The conditions of hearing the transcendental message of the absolute truth are set forth herein. The first condition is that the audience must be very sincere and eager to hear, and the speaker must be in line with of disciplic succession from a recognized acharya. The transcendental message of the absolute is not understandable by those who are materially absorbed under the direction of bona fide spiritual master. One becomes gradually purified. Therefore, one must be in the chain of disciplic succession and learn the spiritual art of submissive hearing. In the case of Sutta Goswami and sages of Navamisharanya, all these conditions are fulfilled because Srila Sutta Goswami is in the line of Srila Vyasdev, and the sages of Naimisharanya are all sincere souls who are anxious to learn the truth. Thus, the transcendental topics of Lord Sri Krishna's superhuman activities, his incarnations, his birth, appearance or disappearance, his forms, his names, and so on are all easily understandable because all requirements are fulfilled. Such disclosure help all men on the path of spiritual realization. So this verse is really a very nice verse. And but before we get to this verse, let's go a couple of steps back to verse number 11, where we started today's lecture, today's verses. So it says there are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of studies in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all the scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instructions their hearts may be fully satisfied. So, we know there are so many scriptures. There are Vedas, there are Puranas, there are, Shiv Puran, Devi Puran, and Ganesh Puran. So many different scriptures we have. But what sages are particularly interested here is that just straight come to the point. So all of them are, and everyone says different things. So please tell us that what is the essence of all the scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings. So like when we don't have enough time, and we want to know a vast subject, then we always want the subject expert to tell us what exactly the crux is, what exactly the point is, get to the point. So here they're asking him, please, just explain to us the essence. We don't have time, we don't have that long life, so we can study all the scriptures. So you being a subject expert, please tell us the essence. Then Sutta Goswami, they're showering their blessings. So all blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva. Now, on one side, we say personality of Godhead, who is omnipresent, omnipotent. Then why does he have to appear from the womb of Devaki? Now, Devaki is is uh, is a human in a way from the point of view, one point of view. Then why the personality of Godhead is dependent by to take a birth through the womb of a lady or a woman or Devaki, and as the son of Vasudev? Why does he have to do it? Why did he do that? they're very eager to know. Although these are all great sages and they know, they've heard maybe these pastimes, hundreds and thousands of times more than what we have heard. But still, because, they are approaching a bona fide spiritual master, Sutta Goswami, or a, or a then or a great devotee, they want to hear from Sutta Goswami directly. So then that leads to our verse today, where they are asking, O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. So now, we will break this translation in few parts and then we will discuss it. And actually some of the verses after these are also very interesting and very connected to this verse. But here we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. So this is the quality or a devotee carries. That's what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. In Chatushloki Gita, in chapter 10, Krishna says that who are my devotees and what my devotees do. So he is saying that Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. So to those who are constantly devoted in serving me, so let's go to one verse back. Which one is ninth verse? Okay. Yes, one back. Okay. So here in Chatushloki Gita, Krishna explains that the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. So here Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Now we see in this verse that we are discussing, they're referring to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they definitely know that He is the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and everything is emanating from Him. So why has He taken birth from the womb of Devaki? And although these are all wise people, great saintly people who perfectly know this, so what they do when they perfectly know this, they engage in the devotional service and worship the Lord with all their hearts. Now we see all these questions that they are asking so far, and even after that, they're making a really heartfelt appeal to uh, to Sutta Goswami to share the pastimes of Krishna and tell them more about Krishna. So now what Krishna says about his devotees is explained in the next verse. So in this next verse, Krishna says, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, Machita Madagata Prana, and their lives are fully devoted to my service. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So what is happening here? So these devotees, being very eager to know about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they're actually in line with what Krishna is thinking about his devotees. These are all pure devotees because they're deriving great pleasure by asking these questions to Sutta Goswami. And then what Krishna does when we inquire in such a manner, when we inquire out of eagerness, we approach senior devotees, realized souls. So what will Krishna do once we do that? So tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So this is what happens when we make eager inquiries, and then Krishna being merciful upon us, he gives us that understanding. So spiritual knowledge is knowledge that comes through revelation, and it also, it manifests in our heart. It is not something that we can learn by learning just the verses, or by by hearting the Sanskrit verses, or learning grammar. you know this knowledge is revealed in our heart. So there is a story, a very nice story of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya, as we know, that was a great acharya from South India. His teachings were different than our Vaishnava teachings, but he was incarnation or Shaktavish avatar of Lord Shiva, and he was given a task of spreading impersonal philosophy, and he had lots of followers, lots of disciples, and some of his disciples were very bright, and one disciple, he was very, very affectionate, but he was not as bright as others. So he was very much attached to his spiritual master. He would serve him very nicely. He would never eat prasad before spiritual master honors his prasad, and he was very dear to his guru. But whenever he would go to classes, when his teacher would teach Vedanta or any philosophy, he would start dozing, because it was very hard for him to grasp philosophy. So other his fellow uh, disciples would make fun of him, and they would laugh at him. So one day what happened is, he was Shankaracharya came to for his class. All the disciples were sitting, and this disciple was not present there. And he Shankaracharya said, "We'll wait for him to come." And then a long time passed, but he did not come. And one of his disciples said that, Guru Maharaj, let's start, because if he's not here, he may join later, or anyways, what is the point of him even being here, because he will start dozing again. So at that time, Shankaracharya looked deeply to see where his disciple was, because he had the vision like that. He was a great personality, and his disciple was actually washing his clothes, Shankaracharya's clothes, on the river bank. And while washing his clothes, he was thinking, I'm such a useless person. I have no qualification. Why am I here in the first place? Look at other disciples. They are so great. They're so learned. They have such a great, remembrance. And here I am, just good for nothing. And he was, from all bottom of his heart, he was just praying to his spiritual master that, please, please, give me some knowledge, please be merciful upon me. So Shankaracharya, while sitting, meditating like that, he could hear these prayers from his disciple in his heart. And he said that, you want knowledge, then take knowledge. And suddenly, just like the files download in computer, all the knowledge descended in his heart. And he immediately felt something. He grabbed his things from the riverbank and came running back to his ashram. And when he came back, he saw his guru was sitting on Vyasasan, and all the disciples waiting there, bit annoyed, looking at him. And he immediately came, bowed down, paid his obeisances. He got up and started, reciting prayers after prayers in praise of his spiritual master. And his name was Totakacharya, because I think, if I'm not wrong, that the chanda, or the meter he recited these prayers, they were called Totaka meter. So like that, spiritual knowledge is revealed by Lord to when we are sincere and humble, and we make all our efforts to understand and serve the Lord. So here what Krishna is saying, that to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Otherwise, in this way, in this world, there is no possibility that one can even know anything about Krishna without mercy of devotees and without mercy of Lord. So it is the next verse will say how Krishna does it. So how Krishna gives his mercy, or he says, Teshamevanukampartham aham agyanajam tamah nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So he says, to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their heart destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna personally does it. Krishna is in everyone's heart. He says in Bhagavad Gita in earlier chapters that Sarvasya Chaham Hridisan Nivishto. In chapter 15, he says, Mattaha Smruti Jnanam Apohanam Cha Vedescha Sarve Rahameva Vedyo Vedanta Kruta Veda Videya Chaham. So what he's saying there, that it is not so difficult to attain spiritual knowledge, but what we need to do is to please the Lord. Please the Lord, either please our spiritual master, and by pleasing spiritual master we can please the Lord, because yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. By pleasure of spiritual master is direct pleasure of the Lord. Actually, spiritual master is not different in a way from Krishna, because when Krishna becomes merciful upon us, and he, to show his compassion and love towards us, he manifests himself in the form of spiritual master, and then spiritual master enters in our life. And by accepting spiritual master, we are telling Krishna that yes, now I'm going to accept whatever you are saying, because spiritual master is non-different. The Lord appears in the form of a guru, and guru bhakti, or guru nishtha, really pleases him. And when we are able to please our spiritual master, then we can be assured that Krishna is pleased. Now, what will please our spiritual master? That's another question. What will please spiritual master? Is it that we, sometimes spiritual master comes to visit us, we make chapan bhog feast? Will that please him? Or we buy him, if nice iPhone, iPad, or according to one's capacity, some good sweaters, or dhoti kurta, or flight ticket? Is that actually service to spiritual master? No, the spiritual master will be pleased when we are sincere in our devotional service. When we are sincere and we are determined in our devotional service, we're chanting the holy name sincerely, that would really please spiritual master, because that is the reason why they have accepted us. That is the reason why what they they are here to deliver us from this material world. Everything else that we can do to our spiritual master is good. It will please them to some extent, but not to an extent where we can, by our sincere efforts in spiritual life, we can really make our spiritual masters very happy. And the essence of all our spiritual practice starts from chanting the holy name of Lord. I was reading a few days ago a diary of traveling preacher by Indradyumna Maharaj, and he was sharing such a wonderful pastime in that he went to, I don't remember the details, but I remember the essence of the story, that he went to some place, I think in Poland or somewhere, and there he met with a devotee, Mataji, and she invited him. And Maharaj was thinking that he had very tight schedule. He was, uh, he was going to, catch a flight after some time, and you know, whether he was not sure whether he can make this commitment at this time. He was thinking to move it to the next time. But eventually he agreed. Something he felt that he should, in his heart, he should honor this request. So he went there and he saw a little room that she was living. There was no furniture in that room, just a small altar, a small bag, and a few books in the wardrobe. There were no clothes, there were no wardrobes, nothing in that room. Empty room, just with one small bag and altar. So that was her home. She was, a book distributor for last many years. I think 10-15 years she was doing book distribution service, and she was staying alone every day. 365 days she would go out for book distribution, and whatever books she would distribute, any donations or anything that she would be asked to retain or something, she would not use it for herself. She would not use any penny of that for her own comforts or convenience, and she kept all those funds or savings from last many months and years in that bag, which was with few clothes, couple of her belongings, few clothes. And she told him that so many years ago, when you told me to do this service, I started doing that service, and I haven't stopped. This is all for your pleasure. And when Maharaj says, when he heard that, he had tears in his eyes, and he felt so much uh, love and compassion for, and he felt that such a dedication, that he was at one point feeling non-deserving to that extent. But that is how the the spiritual master is pleased when we show our sincerity in devotional life. And obviously, it also reminds me story of Shabri from Ramayan, that Shabri was, very elderly. She was living alone in Dandakaranya. There were demons, Rakshasas living around her in her neighborhood. So obviously, we are not the only ones with bad neighborhood. Shabri had worst. And near Shabri's home, there was a white mountain. And when Lord Ram came there, he inquired, "What is this white mountain?" And he was told that all the sages who are here, who were here meditating and praying, the demons, they eat them up, and then they, after they eat them up, they throw their bones in one place. So there was some discipline even in demons, that the bones were thrown in one place. So there was, by throwing the bones, there was a massive mountain, white mountain of bones. So Lord became, very sad. Tears came in his eyes, and he said that I will finish this dynasty of demons, who have killed. Now, if you see Shabri was elderly, and her spiritual master told Shabri that, you don't need to do anything. The Lord will come here.
Hello. Hi.
The Lord will come here and give you darshan here. So just, stay here and chant the holy name of Lord. And Shabri was, when she heard that, she thought that, Ayodhya is very far, and the Lord Ram was not even born by then when Shabri started chanting his name. Because Shabri lived for, I think, thousands of years. And she did that for a very long time, waiting for Lord Ram. And Lord Ram, he came uh, to Dandakaranya in very early age, maybe when he was 26, 30 years old, because he got married, and 10 years later he got exiled for 14 years. So I'm just trying to calculate those years. But but Shabri was not waiting for 26 years. Shabri was waiting for very long time. And every day with great enthusiasm, just to satisfy her guru's order, to satisfy him, she would, with great enthusiasm and eagerness, she would go and do the same thing over and over. She would clean her residence every day. She would go bring the flowers. She would decorate the path with flowers. She would bring the fruit. She would, be ready for Lord and wait with, with everything ready, that he will come and sit here and sit there and chant the holy name. And then he would not come. Like that, days after days after days have passed, and the Lord never came for hundreds of years. Not, we're not talking, this is Treta Yug, so for hundreds of years he did not come. But she did not give up her hope, because her strong faith in the words of her spiritual master, and she was pleasing her spiritual master by that, doing that service. And so what happened, she was completely protected amongst all these, demons around her, and nobody could, the demons somehow could not see her. They saw everyone else and they ate them all, but somehow they did not see her. And when Lord came, you know, he, there is no description that he went to meet this rishi and that rishi, and all the sages came to meet Lord at various places, but Lord personally, he came to Shabri's house, Shabri's, hut or cottage. So, and why is that? Why did he not go? Because they were also meditating. They were also, they were not ordinary people. They were sages that given up everything, their family life, household, everything. And they came to forest, and they were staying in the forest, eating roots and, fruits, and still meditating on Lord day and night, great austerities. But why Shabri was greater? Because, she was chanting the holy name and following the orders of spiritual master to please him. But Lord came straight to Shabri's place, and he, delivered Shabri. He ate the fruits that was eaten by Shabri before. Now, even Lakshman was at some point was bit annoyed that she was eating it, tasting it before feeding it to Lord. But Lord was completely happy. And that is the power of, bhakti, when we are, when we please our Lord, we please Lord, we please our spiritual master, and bhakti comes in our heart, and that attracts the Lord the most. And so there's what happened after that is, once, when this battle was over, Lord came back, and Sita Devi, came back to Ayodhya, and Janak Maharaj had a desire to, you know, invite Lord Ram and satisfy him, for this great feat he had done to kill Ravana and kill all these demons. And after Sita Devi came back, she told various pastimes where Lord was, fighting with thousands of demons at once, shooting so many arrows at once. Kardushana's fight, when she saw, she was, mesmerized to see how he was fighting alone with armies of, all this demons who had so many mystical powers. So she told all these things to her father, and the father was also very, Janak Maharaj was a great devotee himself. And when he heard these stories from his daughter, he was even very happy. Said, I want to do something for Lord Ram. I want to satisfy him so much. And Lord always likes to eat, right? So Lord Jagannath, we know how much he likes to eat. So Lord likes to eat, varieties of. Krishna like to eat. Lord Ram likes to eat bhoga. So what Lord Janak Maharaj did, he said, Sita Devi, you come home first, and we will prepare a grand feast and we'll invite everyone, all four brothers and mothers and everyone, and we will serve them something that they would have never tasted in their life. So Janak Maharaj then did a massive feast, and he invited the cooks from uh, all around the country, and so many cooks came, and everyone was preparing wonderful dishes. And uh, Janak Maharaj was so particular. He himself was a great cook, and a massive feast was prepared with thousands of preparation. One may not even have thought. Now Sita Devi is Radharani, so she was she was amazing cook. So all, the best of the best you can think of had come together, and with all their efforts, all their preparations, they have prepared, exquisite feast. And then this feast was ready, and the feast was served, and Janak Maharaj was looking for some kind of, you know, um, recognition from Lord Ram. And Lord Ram was eating very peacefully, and very happily. And he did not show any extraordinary, excitement that, wow, look at this. Oh, wow, this is so amazing. No, nothing like that. He was just eating as if he would eat every day. So Janak Maharaj was becoming very restless, because that is actually nature of Lord Ram. He's very, very peaceful. He's very composed. He doesn't, like when he was asked to go to forest, he did not even hesitate, or even a little line of hesitance didn't come on his face. And now he's served a great feast, and in that feast also he's showing as if, it's all right, it's nice. So he was eating, and Janak Maharaj was becoming a bit restless, and he was thinking, he did not even say that this is great or fantastic. So let me go and ask him, just to see how he's feeling. So he went and said, so my dear Ram, uh, have you before ever tried this kind of food? So Lord Ram said, "Mm, oh, no, this is great, really nice, really nice." But Janak Maharaj was not still happy with that response. He said, no, first he said, how did you like the food? He said, oh, it's really nice, really nice. He said, no, please tell me a bit more. Have you ever tried this kind of any preparations before? He said, no, I've never tried this kind of preparations. But he was not, he was not still giving out the real thing. So he was saying, so what do you think? What do you think? Which one do you like the most? So he said, everything is nice. Everything is nice, but, and then he just left it there. And Janak Maharaj was burning inside. He said, what is that but for? So what does that mean? Why is he saying but at the end? And he said, but what, have you ever tried? Please tell, please tell. He said, no, don't worry, don't worry. I just don't want to, discourage you, or, I just don't want to say anything. He said, no. You must tell me. You must tell me. I want to hear. I want to know what you're saying. So Lord Ram said that everything was just perfect, very elegant, very tasty, exquisite, very tasty. But, the it was slightly less than the sweetness of Shabri's, fruits. And, so see, so much the Lord is appreciative to his devotees. Although Janak Maharaj is great devotee, Sita Maharani is great devotee. Everyone was cooking with love and devotion for him. But, the devotion that Shabri had showed towards Lord Ram, he was, completely taken aback. And what was she doing? What was she doing? She was not, you know, she did not prepare Chappan Bhog. She did not, offer something like some great things like Sugriva offered the whole kingdom, or Vibhishan offered his whole kingdom. She had nothing to offer. She was very elderly. She was very, poor, not so knowledgeable. But the Lord's appreciation for her was so much that, so coming back to our verse, this goes. These sages are telling Sutta Goswami that they are also showing the eagerness which Shabri showed uh, about the Lord. And then they are saying that please explain to us the teachings imparted by previous acharyas. And for this, for one is uplifted by both speaking them and by hearing them. So Harikatha is so purifying that when we hear the pastimes of Lord, that it purifies first the person who is speaking, then second person who gets purified is person who's hearing, and then also it purifies the people who are not hearing, so they are not just through the sound vibration. When we are chanting or we're doing harikatha, uh, you know all of the living beings around us, they get also purified. So yeah, so I think it is 8:35. So I'm conscious that there is bhajan after this. We have 5 minutes for anything that you want to share or add something into these discussions, or if you have any feedback or questions, we can discuss that now. I'll stop sharing the screen.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a very nourishing class, Prabhuji, and wonderful examples of devotion to spiritual master. It was reminding me the empowerment that you get from Guru Maharaj or your spiritual master reminded me of Dhruv Maharaj's prayers. The Yonta Pravishyamam Vacham Imam Paschiptam Sanjivayati Akhila Shakti Dhara Swadhamna Anyas Chucharana Shavana Tyagadin Prana Namostuve Bhagavat.
Purushaya Tubhyam.
So it's, do you want me to read the translation? It's such a beautiful translation.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Yeah. So my dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So that's how Guru Maharaj or the Lord empowers us, just by their touch or just giving us the knowledge that we have no concept of. It just comes when they empower us, isn't it? So beautiful. Thank you for your wonderful class.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing. It's a wonderful verse. And my spiritual master, Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj, whenever he starts his class, Bhagavatam class, he always recites that prayer first. So yeah, thank you for, it was, that verse, was a blessing for me when you said that. Okay, thank you. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Amritanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Palika Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful class. I was listening, and then how you connected with Bhagavad Gita, those verses, and how these the sages in Naimisharanya, how they were so eager, and then how Krishna, because when you are very eager to hear Krishna Katha, and how Krishna helps them to in their heart to hear more. And you connected very nicely with Bhagavad Gita's verses, and it's really very, very enlightening. Wonderful class.
Thank you for your blessings, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you. So Mataji is for bhajans. Who's leading bhajans, or what is happening next?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, tonight Namrata Mataji is singing the bhajan. But before that, would you kindly give the hosting rights to Jyoti Mataji, please?
Yeah, she's already a co-host. I'm going to make her the host now.
Thank you very much. What a
Host.
wonderful class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Amritanand Prabhu. Wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. When I saw you, I became a bit nervous, but I carried on. When I saw you and Manu Prabhu, I was a little nervous, but I thought, okay, anyways, it is a service. So if you want to add anything, Prayagraj Prabhu.
No, no, amazing. A wonderful class. I was relishing that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, there is a question in the chat box from Jay.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, let me see. Okay, yes. How can we tell whether knowledge has been revealed to us or if the knowledge has come from our reading or hearing? Specifically, the spiritual knowledge is revealed in the heart. Okay. Yeah, very nice question. So, when you have, when the knowledge is revealed, then it changes us. When we theoretically know something, it does not, change us or change anything in our life. So if by knowing that information, if anything has changed in your life, then that is actually the knowledge that's touched your heart, and that's where, you can see that it is a knowledge that we have understood and not just read. Because, we read so many messages that come on WhatsApp, but that does not touch our heart. But sometime, with practice of devotional service, some little change happens, and then that changes our perspective about some person or some people or in general. Then that is the knowledge that is actually touched our heart, or it is revealed to us. So it is this is my understanding. I think the revealed knowledge, should transform our heart. If it is revealed in our heart, we should feel more happier after knowing that information. Otherwise, it's information. Information is not so useful. It is useful in a way. Theoretically, we should know, but if we know theoretically, but we haven't understood it properly, then we will keep doing the same things, and it will, without changing ourselves. But if it changes us a little bit, then that knowledge is revealed to us. Anyone else can answer that? What is your view? Prayagraj Prabhu or Manu Prabhu or someone else? It's a very nice question. Thank you for asking.
Prabhuji, there is one question for Hema Mataji. That which verse was it? Where is it? Hema Mataji, which verse is it?
Prayers of Dhruva Maharaj.
Can you please advise?
Okay. Okay. All right. Are you happy with the answer? Or if you want to, do you have any? Prayagraj Prabhu, what do you want to say?
No, you have given a wonderful answer. I don't have anything to add. Regarding that verse, it's 4th canto, 3rd chapter, right? 3rd or 6th. I have to check. Dhruva Maharaj's verse.
I don't know the number, but I just recite it every day. So
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
no
we will.
idea.
I will find it and put it
You'll
on the
find
chat
it.
here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Before I go.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. I have another class now, so I'm going to take your leave. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for
Thank
the
you, Prabhu.
wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Namrita Mataji is singing a beautiful bhajan. After I've read the English translation of the bhajan is called Alire Mohe Lage Vrindavan Niko. And here's the translation. Oh friend, I like Vrindavana so much, where in every home there is worship of Tulasi and the deity with darshana of Govindaji. where the pure waters of the Yamuna flow, and where the foodstuffs are milk and yogurt. Oh friend, I like Vrindavana so much, where the deity sits on a jeweled throne with Tulasi in his crown. Oh friend, I like Vrindavana very much, where Radhika roams from Kunj to Kunj, having heard the vibration of his flute. Oh friend, I like Vrindavana so much. The hero, Giridhari, is the master of Meera, who says that without bhajans, a person is dull. Oh friend, I like Vrindavana so much. Hare Krishna. Namrata Mataji, are you ready to sing the bhajan?
Yes, Mataji, thank you so much.